I am never a hater.
Yeah.
Me and Ashanti created and made history.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
But I don't see eye to eye with her anymore.
Let me...
You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like Irv has flat out lied about a lot of things. And the crazy thing is, like, when we were in a good space, a positive space, like, pillow talk is a dangerous thing.
So, are you telling me that not only was VV Gotti using Ashanti, but he was also passing her around to Diddy and other industry guys? This is wild because if you listen to Irv talk about Ashanti over the last 20 years, he's painted her as the villain. But now, the truth seems to be coming out. Apparently, Ashanti broke things off with Irv and left his label because she was tired of being exploited. Sources say Ashanti's finally ready to tell her side and spill all the dirty secrets about what Irv made her do, backed up by hard evidence. But did Irv really force her to record their encounters? And are the feds planning to go after Irv again? Let's get into it. VV Gotti's been on a campaign talking about how Ashanti did him wrong, like that time he went off on Drink Champs, claiming she abandoned him during his trial back in the early 2000s. To refresh your memory, the feds raided Murder Inc. in January 2003, linking Irv and his brother Chris to drug lord Kenneth Supreme McGriff in a money laundering scheme. The feds thought they launched Murder Inc. with McGriff's dirty money. Irv says Ashanti betrayed him by not standing by his side. Thinking he'd be found guilty and go to jail for life, he even suggested she was secretly relieved, seeing it as her way out of her contract with Murder Inc.
A lot of people were saying,
Right.
you know, the 98% conviction rate.
Right.
So she would be saying to me in like emotional crying, like, they told me you're gonna go to jail.
Let's just be clear now. Let's just be clear. This is a good point as an outsider that's looking in. That's the way they was pointing y'all out. They were like, these going to jail for life.
And I'm quite sure, that her people was telling her this is a good thing for you.
To get up out of there.
You're the hottest R&B. Gotti's gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
And you're free.
Like, distance yourself.
Yes.
Newsflash, not guilty. Not guilty. You and your team, not guilty. I told all you I ain't do it. No one believed me.
Here's the real story. For those who don't know, Ashanti got her start with Irv Gotti's label, Murder Inc., back in the late 90s when she was still. Irv saw her talent and took her in, making her write hooks for his rap artists and sing on their tracks. By 2002, Ashanti was everywhere. She was featured on Fat Joe's What's Love and Ya Rule's Always on Time, two of the biggest songs that year. That pretty much locked her in at Murder Inc. She quickly started working on her own music, dropping her debut single Foolish and her album Ashanti, both huge hits. From there, her career took off. But of course, things didn't stay smooth between her and Irv. Here's the thing though, if you ask Irv, he'll tell you he's the one who made Ashanti. For over 20 years, he's been running his mouth about how, without him, Ashanti would never have made it. He just can't seem to let that claim go.
Yeah, this is all
I
positive.
put that girl on.
Right.
I'm not saying it is braggadocious. It's real. I put her on. And the end rule by saying, yeah, she go ahead, let Bon Bon get on Always on Time. We put her on.
Right.
So for her to say, I don't want to do this no more, I don't respect it. And that shit, like, I'm a family nigga, right? I'm the youngest of 8 kids, so everything you ever see Irv Gotti about, I mention my brother. It's family references.
Right.
So my thing with Murder Inc., when she said, I don't want to do this no more, that shit cut deep. Because I put you on, I named you the princess.
But she didn't put her, because I see you put your...
You know what? Fine, Irv did put Ashanti on, but let's not act like she didn't pay a heavy price for that so-called help. There are rumors swirling that Irv wasn't just helping her career, he was basically pimping her out. Word on the street is, Irv would take Ashanti to industry events and make her one of the party favors. Everyone knows Irv was messing around with Ashanti back in the day. But here's the kicker. He was married at the time. His wife, famous fashion designer Debbie Lorenzo, had to be the strongest woman alive because Irv was straight up playing her for a fool. And get this, it turns out that Irv's affair with Ashanti was one of the key reasons his marriage ended. They'd been married over a decade, but in the end, Irv's betrayal was too much for Debbie to handle.
We were still married, but we were separated when they were dating. I was used to it from the beginning, like him going and traveling. I just wasn't used to the women. That was like new, like, where did these hoes come from?
But here's the real kicker. According to reports, Irv wasn't just wowed by Ashanti's voice, he was all over. As soon as he signed her, he started drooling over her like a man starved for attention. And remember, Ashanti was still a teenager at the time. But that didn't stop Irv. He was in a rush to get her out of the studio and into his bed. Even now, he can't stop obsessing over how delicious she was. He even had the audacity to claim they were in love and said they made some of her hits right after getting it on.
Hey, hold on. Yeah.
So Happy, let me explain how the relationship and how it worked to
Yeah, I'm
advantage.
dating at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're together.
Matching watches? I imagine you both have watch too.
I bought her mad shit.
Okay.
Birkins,
all that. Okay.
I bought. She gained it.
Okay.
I don't know about none of this either. I just know.
Okay.
So
you Switzerland. Stay out of it.
I'm Switzerland. There you go.
We just finished sleeping together or whatever.
Okay.
I'm taking a shower. I'm in the shower. You know, be creative after.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I gotta get
Look, they laughing
comfortable for
because
this
it's
story.
real.
I ain't never heard this story either. I'm getting comfortable. I didn't get pop.
I think of the whole track in the shower. I get out the shower, I call my Chink. I'm on the phone, Chink, yo.
Chink Santana.
We get to the studio. Chink. Chefs it up, the beat, everything. Okay. Now it's time for you to write. Yo, I want to be a feel-good joint, like summertime things. I'm so happy, baby.
She made me happy.
I mean, but that
Beautiful
the
record.
energy,
Beautiful record.
that record came about because of our energy.
He got slammed hard for that interview. It sounded like the ramblings of a bitter old drum. Even rapper Young Jock called him out, saying Irv should have thought twice before talking about Ashanti like that. He could have kept his mouth shut, but no, he chose to run his mouth instead.
He could have did all that. Because there's a lot of shit he left out in his story maybe of how he did it. I mean, yes, it's true. But, you know, there's a certain level of etiquette. You know what I'm saying? Like him calling her all in the interview. I know he probably felt like he felt New York like, man, yo, the bitch woo-de-woo. I'm not calling her a bitch like that, but yeah, you know, you hear the word like, oh, it's not a term of endearment unless we, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's so I think it was just distasteful in a lot of ways how he talked about this situation. You know what I'm saying? He could have been like, yo, you know what? I really want to take the time to say, I really, really appreciate Ashanti in so many ways. But I have to tell the truth, man. My heart was crushed. And I don't want to really get into it because it's going to make me look crazy. But I'm willing to tell my truth. I was married at the time and I was dealing with Ashanti. And I feel so bad because I lured her in to be. She never wanted to be a side chick. She never wanted to go against my marriage. She respected that shit, but me being who I was, having the power I had, the manipulation over her, I did that. I gaslighted my wife for making her think she was crazy because she probably said shit about Ashanti at times. And I, as a man, I want to apologize before I even tell any of this story. But I have a great deal of history with Ashanti. The world may have never known, blah, blah. It's like that's maybe what he wanted to do. That may have been his intentions, but that shit didn't come out like that. That shit came out like, man, like, see, y'all don't know. Me and Ashanti was, when I made this song, we had just got finished and I went in there, we was in the shower, you know, and it's just like, it's like, oh, you didn't really prepare us for this. You just kind of, yeah, man, it's because you know, people gonna leave with the clip that's gonna get the clickbait. So the clip, that first hit was like, yeah, I was Ashanti. Whoa, y'all roll me out all fucking wrong.
Here's where it gets really messy. Insiders say Ashanti and Irv Gotti never had any real love for each other. Their relationship was all about using Ashanti for profit. Irv allegedly went as far as pimping her out to his industry pals. Ashanti was so traumatized by the things Irv made her do that by the time his legal case came around, she was already planning her escape. But even then, she stood by his side during the trial. Later, Ashanti went on Angie Martinez's podcast to set the record straight. She claimed that Irv had been lying about her every time he spoke her name.
Irv has flat out lied about a lot of things. And the crazy thing is, like, when we were in a good space, a positive space, like, pillow talk is a dangerous thing. You know what I'm saying? And there are so many things that, like, I know, and there's so many things that, like, you know, and for a long time and probably forever, like, I don't have the desire to expose certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Here's what I'm saying. Ashanti admitted she showed up to Irv's trials even though she was in Canada filming a movie. Her contract actually required her to stay there, but it's not hard to prove her story. Just a quick Google search and you can find a photo of her at one of the trials.
When you lose the reins and well, let me, you know what I'm saying? Then it gets into that, and let me start making up lies. You know, I hate when he tells the story about, Ashanti's not loyal and she didn't support during the trial. When clearly you see me at the trial. Clearly you see me on every single newspaper. Clearly, you know, I was shooting John Tucker Must Die in Canada. Ironically, we're in Canada right now.
I could actually pull up video of you and I doing an interview where you tell that story.
We're having this same conversation basically. Yeah. And legally, my contract, I was not allowed to leave the country. I left like 3-4 times. You know, we weren't even speaking at that time, but I left because I was supportive. You know what I mean?
But Ashanti didn't stop there. She went off on Irv for even thinking he could imply they had some kind of romance or were happily in love, which is total BS in her eyes. According to her, Irv was never her boyfriend. She never felt like his equal, and she never enjoyed the relationship because it was all about exploiting her.
I think a lot of the pain is from not wanting to let go. You know,
of a relationship or the times or the control.
I feel like the control. That's what I was going to say. I feel like sometimes when a man feels like he's losing control and he can't manipulate and he can't dictate and he can't tell you what to do with your finances and he can't, you know, control, you know, where you go and who you're with. And, you know, I think that gets to a man's ego. So then he turns to bashing and he turns to intimidation and he turns to, you know, try to make you look bad. You know what I'm saying? To boost his own ego. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's really sad. It's sad to watch that.
So, when she finally had the chance, Ashanti dumped Irv and moved on to a new boyfriend, singer Nelly. She also left Murder Inc. behind and took her career to a new label, Raiden Entertainment.
He never tells the full story. He never says why. You know what I mean?
So why?
And it's like, okay, yeah, me and Nelly were dating. Irv was salty. Irv would not let me come to the studio to record. Irv was telling everyone not to record with me. Why do I want to stay in that situation? How can I stay in that situation? You know what he said to me?
What?
He said, nah, you want to be with Nelly? Go sign to Dirty A&T. We don't want you. What am I supposed to do? You know what I mean?
Irv Gotti made a statement saying their relationship had run its course, claiming their chemistry was off and they were in two totally different places. He went on about how he shaped and molded Ashanti, putting her out there for the world, and how they set a record with the fastest-selling debut by a female R&B artist, selling 53,000 copies. But according to insiders, it was a lot deeper than that. Irv wasn't just taking advantage of Ashanti romantically, he was allegedly trying to trap her with a shady record deal, stealing millions from her. When Irv was asked about it, he turned it around. making it seem like Ashanti was the one trying to cheat him by asking for her masters back.
Speak on the masters. I know that's gonna come up. First of all, I'm not like Lucien Grange.
From Empire?
No, Lucien Grange owns he runs the Universal Music Group.
Oh, that's when Kanye said, "I'm not Lucien."
Yeah.
I ain't know that's what he thought.
Lucien Grange.
Oh, shit. I let you know I ain't getting that much money. I gotta calm down.
Lucien Grange ain't giving nobody back their masters.
Wow.
And he owns thousands of them. I own a hot maybe 25.
Right.
Lucien Grange wasn't in the studio with you making those records.
Right.
I made those Ashanti records.
Can you rock with me?
Oh, I made those records. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wrote them, but she wrote them with the help of me telling her what to write. And all of y'all, whoever knows me, I don't lie. I don't lie. I'm not a liar. You know what I'm saying? But I helped make those records.
Right.
So artists have a way of getting money. Rule makes a lot of money.
Yes, he does.
Doing shows. Ashanti makes a lot of money doing shows.
Yeah.
So what's left for the guy who was the record label who helped make the records? How I make money out of this is the masters.
Right.
So how am I supposed to feel when you want to remove that aspect? You really basically saying you don't want Sonny, JJ, and Angie, my beautiful kids. You don't want them to eat.
Ashanti wasn't the only artist who felt exploited by Irv Gotti. Singer Lloyd also experienced similar treatment. Leading him to leave Murder Inc., Lloyd has openly criticized Irv, calling him out of touch for the way he treated his artists. For more insight into Irv Gotti's relationship with Lloyd, you can watch the following video.
Gotti has said, after hearing that you wanted to leave his label, that you just weren't a good artist.
Right.
That you just didn't make good music. What's your response to what Irv Gotti said?
I just think he's kind of out of touch, you know? And it's easy for Irv to run behind lawyers and legalities and contracts to hide his flaws. But I really think that, you know, to be someone who doesn't even make the music, you know, it's kind of hard to criticize the ones that do. You know, my blessing is that God has given me a gift, not Irv. And with that said, I can go and record new music tonight. And it may change your perspective on what he said about me. But I feel like there's nothing that he can really do to change what I'm saying about him. Ever since I arrived, I have been totally dedicated to making good music, something worth hearing, something worth playing. And I never got that same response from him. You know, it never was that kind of dedication, I felt.
Lloyd also weighed in on the fallout between Irv and Ashanti, making it clear that a Murder Inc. reunion would be impossible without her. As much as Irv might try to downplay her importance, a lot of people agree with Lloyd because Ashanti was one of the key artists who helped put Murder Inc. on the map. So it didn't make sense to many why Irv was throwing dirt. But here's the real tea. The word on the street is that Irv is salty because Ashanti has been threatening to expose all the shady stuff he did to her back in the day. She even threw shade at him in her verse on the remix of Diddy and Bryson Tiller's single Got to Move On. In it, she raps, "You know that you could have it on the weekend SL. Now you mad cause I told you I was leaving. / I'm gone. I'm done. / it's giving obsessed. It's giving me you stressed. It's giving you pressed. / it's giving this man missing the best. But it's been 20 years, please say less." And the streets are saying Ashanti is just getting started. She's now allegedly working with the feds to expose Irv's shady dealings with Diddy. If that happens, Irv might soon have the feds knocking at his door again. What do you think? Was Irv holding back his artists for his own gain? And what do you think is going to happen now that Ashanti is coming for him? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to stick around for the next video.